Good morning, folks. It's Bob out here at Sorrento Hill. Just listening to Leo bark and going after something. He's up on top of the mound there by the dirt burn pile barking. We've got some neighbors back that way that sounds like maybe they've got finally got the excavator out this week so they can start clearing and get ready to build. And yeah, I've just been checking out my plants here. It's kind of a mixed bag, literally, with the grow bags here. I got some zucchini that's doing well. It's got some shoots coming up. I got some more over there that's doing pretty well. My yellow squash, not doing quite as well. My grapes are doing pretty decent. Two of them have got a lot of leaves on them, and two of them I don't think are going to do anything. The green stalk is going crazy. I've got basil. I'm going to be harvesting some of that today, and use that in cooking a dinner tonight. Got peppers growing. Coleus is doing well. My tomato plant here, I got tomatoes coming up, and I took my beans and peas and moved them out in front of a house so they get a little shade, not quite as hot. And I had that bucket, which I had half a dozen pecan trees in. I had bought all these bare root starts, and I had some of them that looked pretty decent. I put out in the area that's going to be my orchard where my persimmons are. I'm going to be eventually planting a couple apple trees out there. But these others were looking pretty sad, and I thought, and they're just not going to do anything. I almost threw them away, and I thought, well, you know what? I got a little bucket, and I got some potting soil. I'll just stick them in there and see what happens. Well, what happened is they all made it, and they've all got leaves growing. So right now I've got them in these grow bags, and then in the fall, once they go dormant, I'll move them out near the road. And I think since they're so small and the deer like to feast on little things, they won't be out there in the protection of the dogs. I'll take my chicken wire and some lightweight T-posts and put cages around them to try to keep the deer away from them, give them a chance to grow up. That'll be a good place to put them because that's where all the water drains down from the hill, and it gets plenty of moisture, and pecans like a little bit moister soil. In my little perennial garden where I put the bulbs, some of it's doing well, and some of it I think because I bought these at the end of a season, I don't think some of them were viable. They didn't make it. And it's a lot cooler than it has been. It's kind of cloudy. We got some rain probably coming in. And so yesterday afternoon, I went out and did a little over 100 miles on the bike. You know, what's a wonderful thing is my wife, when I told her that I took some time yesterday and went for a ride on the bike, she said, well, good, I'm glad you did that. So that's when you know you got to keep her, when she's glad you took some time to go on a bike. And today I'm getting ready to assemble a couple drawers. I got the parts cut out. I've got my glue ups done, and I'll show you what I got there. So on my interior cabinets, kitchen cabinets, I don't have door panels on them yet, and so they're just open, but that's what it was when we got moved in. So what I've done, doors and some storage on the cabinet where we're storing our pots and pans, and I'll show you that before the end of this video. And right now I've got these are two panels here, two glue ups, side by side. Some people might not like it. I like some of this character in the wood. So I leave it in instead of trying to cut it so that it's out. So I've got these glued up. This is one panel, and that's a panel for the other door. And I glued these up yesterday afternoon, so these are ready to go. I'll take those out of the glue up and cut them down to final size, sand them, and be ready for the router. And I got my stiles and rails cut. I just got to set my router up with the bits. This is my table, my handheld router, but set my router table up with the bits to cut the edge profile in them. And it also cuts a tenon in this one and cuts a mortise in this one, so that they fit together, and so they just hold together with glue. So it's just a matter of cutting them to size. And so I'll get those set up and assembled. And then once I get them assembled, I've got plans drawn up here. This is the storage that's going in that cabinet. This is where we have our bakeware, and this piece of 3/4 inch plywood on the bottom, 3/4 inch for the side, and then dowels. I got a bunch of dowels here. Gonna be cutting and drilling holes, and that'll make the dividers. And this will be storage for bakeware and cutting boards. And then over here is a section that will store all of our bakeware. And these drawers will, the reason why you've got to see these little squares on the side, those will be oak runners. Just use some scrap that I've got, 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch oak runners, and then the 1/2 inch plywood on top. And these will slide in and out so you can get to the pans that are on them instead of having to dig deep into the cabinet. And I think the whole platform, I've got one more drawer glide, so the whole platform will be on will be a drawer that the whole thing can pull out as well. And that's the key, making this stuff so that you can get to it without having to get down on your knees and reach in the cabinet. You can pull a drawer out and then reach down from above. It's a whole lot easier. And just figured out the dimensions by how wide my opening is, how wide my cutting boards and baking sheets are, and how tall the pans are, and that's how I sized it. So it's just get an idea of something, take some measurements, and do some figuring. My sketching isn't the greatest in the world, but hey, it gets the job done. And then I do my little cut list on the side here, and then I'll stick this back in my binder just for future reference. But that's my process, and that's how I go about doing it. All right, well, let me get this router set up and get to work. All right, so I've got the doors on the one with the pot and pan storage and with the lids, but I decided that it would look better if instead of a white front on the drawers, if it had the wood that matched the doors and everything. So I've got that glued and clamped on. I think since it's not used to pull or anything like that, glue will be sufficient, but I got it clamped on so I can't shut my doors. But that's my raised panel doors that I made. Now I've got the doors made for the other side, but I'm waiting for the stain to dry so I can put poly on and then mount them. And this is what I did for the one with the bakeware that's all piled on the counter right now. I've got the slots that the cookie sheets will go in, and that's dowels. Each slot's 1.5 inches wide, and I just put dowels in there, 3/8 inch dowels, and then I joined them with a strip of oak that I stained. And so that's how the cookie sheets will go in there, and just enough room for them. And then here is slides, drawers that slide out, and they've got, you know, the slides at the bottom and in at the top too, so you don't have to worry about them coming out on you. That holds them in there, so you can pull them out to get what you need. And we've got 5 of those, and that will hold her baking pans and the like. And the rest of them, like bread pans, they just slide right in. And of course, if you want to put more, see how much it slides out, how much more you can hold. It's a 22-inch depth of the cabinet. So all of her baking pans and everything can go in here, and if you need them, just slide it out, slide it back in. And then as soon as the poly on my doors gets done, of course I gotta wait, I'm waiting for stain to dry and then the poly, and we got rain moving in, so it's just taking a while. I'll mount those cabinet doors, and then I'll have another thing marked off the list. It'll be complete. So that's kind of a neat thing. I like this storage. You know, I could have bought one at the store, but they come for different widths than my cabinets. So I would have had some lost space or had to do something. So I decided to just make one. And this is all plywood that that's left over from other projects. Everything except the shelves. I did buy a sheet of 1/2-inch plywood that I used for the shelves, and I bought the dowels. But the oak strips there, which I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was kind of a nice touch to put the oak strips across the top. It ties the dowels together, and it gives you no doubt as to the compartments, and it looks real sharp. So that was kind of a nice touch. And then with the drawers that don't slide out, and that way I could customize it to my space and have it do exactly what I want. So I'm pretty pleased with that, with the exception of her bundt cake pan, but we'll have to figure something out on that. So that gets everything organized. You won't have to get down into the cabinet to get into things, and nice and neat and tidy. And it was a lot of fun. So that's what I'm up to. Just doing some stuff around the house, getting some projects wrapped up. My beans have got flowers on them, so I'll be having green beans for too long. I got a couple zucchini plants that I got flowers on them. Got zucchini growing. I got tomatoes getting bigger. And peppers that are getting bigger, so kind of excited about that. It's not a whole lot, but hey, it's more than what we've had in the past, and it's kind of neat to see that I'm starting to develop a little bit of a green thumb. All right, this is Bob out at Serenity Hill. Thanks for stopping by, and hope you enjoyed that. Maybe get a little inspiration on that. If you've got some cabinets that are just driving you nuts because the storage isn't right, you can either buy something to put in them, or you can do like I did and just make some measurements on the pots and pans and everything that you've got, and say, you know what, I'm just going to make something to put in there, and then just pay some attention to detail. Try to make it look as nice as you can, and then voila, you've turned a problem cabinet into a place that's nice for you. All right, thanks for stopping by. Don't be afraid to get out there and do something. Get some glue on your hands, get some paint on your hands, get some dirt under your fingernails, and get out there and do something. Make things happen for yourself. Again, this is Bob at Serenity Hill. Thanks for stopping by. Like, share, subscribe. Hope you enjoy what we're doing here, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye now.